Ovo je Jazeera Svijeta, ja sam Azra Hadžić u emisiji Ove priče. Hoće li Gaza koštati Bidena predsjedničke funkcije? Ankete pokazuju znatan pad podrške među muslimanskim i arapskim biračima. Zatvorenici u vlastitom domu. Donosimo priču o palestinskoj porodici čija je imovina desetljećima oduzimana, kuća okružena žicama i zidovima, a izlazak iz doma ovisi o volji izraelske vojske. Kako su deseci hiljada libanskih farmera pogođeni konfliktom na libansko-izraelskoj granici. U izraelskom napadu na pojas Gaze protekle sedmice ubijen je 21 član porodice dopisnika Al Jazeere Mumina Al-Šrafija. Smješteni su bili u izbjegličkom kampu Džabalija. Al-Šraf je rekao za Al Jazeeru da je eksplozivno bure pogodilo kuću, uzrokujući duboki krater u zemlji. Porodice novinara česta su meta izraelskih napada. Krajem oktobra ubijeno je i 12 članova uže i šire porodice dopisnika Al Jazeere Arabik Vaila Dahduha. Među njima njegova supruga, sin, kćerka i unuk. Mreža Al Jazeera osudila je ova ubistva zahtijevajući odgovornost izraelske vojske. Mreža će poduzeti sve pravne korake kako bi se odgovorni priveli pravdi. Arapski i muslimanski birači napuštaju američkog predsjednika Joea Bidena zbog njegovog odgovora na rat u Gazi. Glasači u Dearbornu, u Michiganu, domu najveće arapsko-američke populacije u SAD-u, kažu da neće glasati za aktuelnog predsjednika 2024. čak i ako se bude natjecao protiv Trumpa. Inače, na izborima od 2020. bilo je gotovo 1.100.000 muslimanskih birača. Ankete su procijenile da su 2/3 tada glasale za Bidena. Ali ako ti birači promijene mišljenje ili ostanu kod kuće, Biden bi mogao izgubiti ne samo Michigan, nego i predsjedništvo.
I will never forget. I will never vote for him. I will never vote for any Democrat again after what they did to us this time.
Arab and Muslim Americans feel betrayed by President Biden and his response on Gaza.
Right now, he needs to call for an immediate ceasefire, and he needs to change his rhetoric.
Israeli attacks have killed more than 10,000 Palestinians in just 1 month. And many are blaming the Biden administration for supporting the Israeli military and for diminishing Palestinian deaths.
When I see a president fail to uphold that, they've lost all respect for me.
For many Palestinian Americans, the violence in Gaza is not a distant reality. It's very close to home.
Do you know how many family members you've lost so far?
It's 20. Yeah, so 4 on Saturday, 4 on Monday, and 12 on Wednesday.
We traveled to Dearborn, Michigan, home to the largest Arab American population in the U.S., to find out how the Biden administration's unwavering support of Israel is impacting their view of the president.
We must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel.
Surveys estimate Biden won more than 2/3 of the Muslim vote in the U.S. in 2020. But if those voters switch or even stay home, it could cost Biden a crucial swing state, and potentially the 2024 election.
Michigan is one of the most important states in the presidential elections, and I think he's taking it for granted. He cannot win without our vote.
Adam Abu Salah is a Palestinian American who worked on the Biden campaign in 2020.
I knocked on doors. I organized for Arab Americans to go out and vote for Joe Biden, and I will not be voting for him in 2024. This is a photo of Biden and I at a meet and greet in Dearborn.
And then there's this cake. What is this cake? It says "Happy Birthday, Adam." Biden 20. What is that?
Yeah, so my birthday was actually 2 days after Election Day in 2020 because I was so focused on the Biden campaign and I was so focused about talking about Biden. So my parents just made a joke out of it.
What do you feel when you see these pictures? What do you feel now?
I feel a sense of betrayal. We really went out for Biden, and historically, whoever wins Michigan wins the presidency. And really, I use the word that we saved Biden in Michigan. I supported the man who's funding the genocide of my people. I feel guilt.
Adam says the Biden administration's actions and words have actively harmed Palestinians. Like when President Biden discounted the massive death toll in Gaza.
Sure, innocents have been killed, and it's a price of waging a war, but I have no confidence in the number that the Palestinians are using.
The fact that he would discount the amount of people that died and said, well, they're exaggerating the numbers a bit, that's not presidential. And again, that's what's making people in the Arab American community outraged. This is somebody that we supported. This is somebody that we came out for. And right now, he's discounting how we feel, but also continuing to fund the genocide against our people in Palestine.
Many Palestinian American voters in Michigan have lost family members in Israel's incessant bombing of Gaza. Dr. Ahmad Shahada says Israeli airstrikes have killed a staggering 20 members of his family.
My cousin, my first cousin, was killed in an attack on his house. His only daughter and his youngest two sons died also on the attack. A couple of my cousins died also in an attack on their home. One of my cousins was pregnant with her first child. The other one was just a recent graduate from college and had her whole life ahead of her. And the younger children were at basic elementary age school. The third one was on last Wednesday. 12 people died in that attack, including a young child. The house that was attacked was the house next to my sister's house.
Dr. Shahada said his sister and her immediate family survived the attack.
That's the one that's really affected me the most because it's 10 meters in the wrong direction and my sister would have been the one who died.
Dr. Shahada says he messages his sister every day, but there are often internet outages.
The last time I talked to her personally was over the phone was last week. The phone call ended very emotionally. You know, she started crying at the end. I mean, she was holding strong the whole time, but I think she just broke up, you know, at the end and couldn't hold it anymore. I probably, because being her older brother, should be calling her and supporting her, but, you know, I couldn't find the strength in me really to hear her voice again that way.
A pulmonologist operating right outside Dearborn, Dr. Shahada has been in the U.S. since the year 2000. He said while Gaza has been attacked by Israel before, the destruction he's seeing now is on another level.
People are dying every day. They're dying in the hundreds and they're dying in the thousands. You're not only killing them, you're starving them before killing them. There is no food, there is no water, there is no electricity. I don't think they're targeting Hamas anymore, they're just targeting the Palestinian people.
The Biden administration says it's working to get aid into Gaza, but Dr. Shahada says the focus should be on a ceasefire.
Humanitarian aid at this time is not the problem. I mean, what's the point of feeding people if we're planning to kill them next day? The most important thing right now is to stop this fighting. If this is not a war crime, I don't know what's a war crime. And we are supporting these war crimes. We are paying for it. We're not only approving it, we're also paying for it with our tax money.
President Biden has asked Congress for $14.3 billion in military aid for Israel. That's in addition to the billions of dollars the U.S. sends every year. In fact, since World War II, Israel has received more U.S. aid than any other country.
The security package I'm sending to Congress is an unprecedented commitment to Israel's security.
Despite voting for Biden in the 2020 election, Dr. Shahada says he will not vote for him again in 2024, even if he's running against Trump.
I don't see any difference in their policy between both of them. At least about Trump, you know what he's going to do. You will not feel betrayed. I mean, I really feel betrayed with what Biden did this time.
That sense of betrayal is common among the Arab and Muslim community, according to Nada Al-Hanouti. Nada is the executive director of Engage in Michigan, a nonprofit focused on encouraging Muslim Americans to vote.
The Israeli government is performing a lot of egregious war crimes to the Palestinian community, including collective punishment, use of white phosphorus, targeting the hospitals and sanctuary zones. And we are pressing the Biden administration to act now and to enforce a ceasefire for our sisters and brothers in Palestine.
Nada says the betrayal felt by the Muslim community is going to impact how they vote and could cost Biden the 2024 election. In 2020, there were nearly 1.1 million Muslim American voters nationally.
Biden and the Democratic Party need the Muslim vote in order to win. In Michigan alone, we had 145,000 Michigan Muslims go out to vote, and Biden won by 155,000 votes.
A recent poll showed that support for Biden among Arab Americans fell from 59% in 2020 to just 17% today.
And right now, there's a lot of mistrust within our community. Our community members do not feel seen, do not feel heard, they do not feel safe, and right now it's not looking good for the Biden campaign.
Dearborn is represented by Palestinian American Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She has publicly criticized Biden, saying he, quote, supported the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Mr. President, the American people are not with you on this one.
A lot of our community members are coming to me, they're saying, Nada, we're either going to vote third party, we are not going to vote top ticket, or we're going to stay home.
The Muslim and Arab voters we talked to in Dearborn echoed those feelings.
I'm a Christian Palestinian, and I've had my grandparents that were displaced in 1948 at the Nakba. I voted for Joe Biden, who I like to say is not my president.
We're really dealing with a very difficult, it's like between a rock and a hard place at that point.
Nowadays, if you're voting for Biden or even if you're voting for Trump, You're putting yourself into a situation where other people's lives are at stake.
I will not vote for Joe Biden in the 2024 election. The cost of a Palestinian life means more to me than anything else.
Honestly, I'm leaning towards not voting in the first place.
So I pray and hope at that point there's going to be some sort of a change. We're not just ticking a box because we have no choice.
It was actually a Trump policy that pushed Adam to get involved in the Biden campaign in the first place. But even if Trump is the Republican nominee, Adam says he won't vote for Biden.
The main reason, honestly, was because of the Muslim ban. When Biden was running against Trump, I thought that Biden would be somebody who would lead with compassion, would lead with humanity. I thought he would be somebody that was a little bit different, but clearly I was wrong.
Multiple people we spoke to said that the danger to Muslims is the same now as it was under President Trump.
Again, we are experiencing the same harmful rhetoric. We're experiencing the same Islamophobia and the same hate crimes, and a government and an administration that is not listening to us.
The Council on American Islamic Relations has received hundreds of complaints of Islamophobia and hate incidents since October 7th, more than 3 times the average from 2022 in a similar time period. In one case, police arrested a man who said he wanted to, quote, hunt Palestinians in Dearborn. And in Illinois, a man killed a 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy, Wadia al-Fayoumi, in what authorities called a hate crime.
When I go to my local mosque and the door is locked and somebody has to let you in because of security concerns, we're Americans. We shouldn't have to feel that way. We shouldn't have to feel scared, not because of lies, but because of stuff that the President of the United States is saying.
The message from the Arab and Muslim community in Michigan to President Biden is very clear.
We grieve, we cry, we hurt, but we channel that energy and we're very proactive and we fight. We are going to continue to fight for our sisters and brothers back home.
Right now, he needs to call for an immediate ceasefire and he needs to change his rhetoric.
But whatever President Biden chooses to do, he's already lost the vote of many of the people who helped him win Michigan.
History will not forgive him for doing this. We will not forgive him for this when November comes next year. We will not forget.
Hanan Abu Vardeh iz Džabalije u sjevernoj Gazi od početka rata 7. oktobra izgubila je sve. Supruga, djecu, unučad. Sada je sama, bez doma u kojem su nekada zajedno živjeli. U narednim minutama govori o strahotama kojima su izloženi Palestinci u Gazi.
We are sitting here under God's mercy. We are helpless. All that we do is keep praying. With every passing minute, we are showered by missiles, bombs, and machine gun bullets from all directions. Come and see the destruction, film the devastation. My son spent his life savings on that new house. He did not stay for more than 20 days there. Now it is all in ruins. Our home is destroyed. All our possessions were lost. That neighbour too, he did not complete 1 week in his new house. Before Thursday, it was levelled to the ground. We are human beings, just like the Israelis. We are humans made of flesh and blood. My son was killed and so was my husband. My niece, newly married, was also killed. She graduated and we were celebrating, singing and dancing over there just 2 months ago. We're left without a home or food. Our children are starving. We can no longer feed them. Prices are soaring as if we're leading a normal life and earning money. My husband was up there when he was killed. He remained lying dead for a week before his body was pulled out of the rubble, the first day of the truce. They kept digging for 20 hours before my husband's body was pulled out. It was the same for my niece, the bride, who was killed over there. Their dead bodies were bloated and reeking, totally decomposed and almost exploded. The whole family, my children and grandchildren, used to gather here. We used to spend evenings here, staying, chatting for late hours in the night. But I've lost them all. They were all killed. I'm left homeless and alone.
UN upozorava na opasno niske zalihe hrane u Gazi. Palestinci sedmicama nastoje pomoći jedni drugima s ono malo što imaju. Imran Ullah Khan donosi priču o grupi volontera koji su uspostavili neku vrstu narodne kuhinje, te su posebno u danima tokom prekida vatre, kada je snimana priča, nastojali doći do što većeg broja ljudi u potrebi.
Na ulicama Khan Junisa šerpa Supe slikovito prikazuje saosjećanje i snagu u Gazi. Ovi prijatelji kuhaju posljednji kese leće za Palestince koji su bez doma. Znaju kako je biti gladan, promrzao i raseljen.
المبادرة هي إطعام النازحين اللي بيجوا أهلنا من غزة من الشمال ومن الشجاعية والمناطق هذه اللي عانوا وضاقوا لمرين يعني جراء الاحتلال ما بيشكوا من الاحتلال الصهيوني. بكون لهم يعني الأربع أيام و5 أيام كل واحد فيهم مش ماكل أو مش.
Alijan Abu Saida raseljen je iz svoje kuće kao i njegovi prijatelji koji se dobrovoljno angažuju u ovo vrijeme nezapamćenih strahota. Nema goriva pa koriste papir i nekoliko drvenih blokova kao potpalu. Zalihe su male, čak je i leću i so teško nabaviti, ali uprkos teškoćama postoje trenuci sreće u malim stvarima.
والله شعور بكفي ناخذ دواعي من الناس اللي جايين من النازحين. بكفي دواعي الستات والزلام الكبار والاطفال اللي بدعونا انما احنا نقدم لهم العدس انه بدعونا.
Automobil nema svrhu kada goriva rijetko gdje ima, pa su koristili kola s magarcima za prijevoz kotlića leće sve do Salah el-Din puta kojim su deseci hiljada Palestinaca od sjevera došli do juga Gaze kroz izraelske punktove. Za mnoge od njih to je prvi obrok u zastrašujućem danu i mala utjeha nakon nekoliko sedmica. Gaza je dostojanstvo, Gaza je historija, Gaza je civilizacija. Ako je želite spasiti, samo ostanite čvrsti. Poruka iz Gaze je da će uprkos ratu, hladnoći, gladi, toplota njenih ljudi opstati.
Otkad je Izrael počeo napade na Gazu, Palestinci koji žive na okupiranoj zapadnoj obali izloženi su čestom nasilju i uznemiravanju. Kretanje je ozbiljno ograničeno vojnim kontrolnim punktovima i ispostavama ilegalnih doseljenika. Muhamed Džamdžum donosi priču o životu palestinske porodice Garib, čija je imovina desetljećima oduzimana da bi na kraju bila ispresjecana izraelskim koridorima, a jedini ulaz u kuću kontrolira vojska. Tako da svaki izlazak ovisi o njihovoj volji. Svaki korak porodice se snima, a na svoju zemlju smiju ući najviše 3 puta godišnje.
Mjesto koje Sadat Garib zove domom izgleda kao zatvor. Tako je odavno i prije 7. oktobra i zna da će tako ostati još dugo.
من ال 79 احنا عايشين في المعاناة هاي ولكن كل فترة بتصير كل أحداث بتصير بيظهر الوجه الحقيقي للاحتلال الإسرائيلي بتزيد بشاعة المستوطنين وإرهاب المستوطنين لهاي العائلة كما الشعب الفلسطيني بأكمله بواجهه فيه.
Njegova je kuća u okupiranom selu Beit Iđza na zapadnoj obali. Izgrađena je decenijama prije nego što je ovo ilegalno izraelsko naselje počelo nametati jezivu novu stvarnost. Prvo su ušli u njegovo poljoprivredno zemljište, a zatim su potpuno zaokružili njihovu kuću.
This gate was installed in 2008, and for a while, members of the family had to wait for hours at a time in order to get permission from soldiers to leave or return to their own home. An Israeli court eventually gave the Gharib family constant access to this corridor. But after Israel launched its war on Gaza, the family has been told that their access will once again be taken away.
Ovog jutra bašta daje nekoliko minuta predaha za Sadata i njegovog sina. Ali ovo cvijeće, koliko god lijepo, ne može sakriti istinu života pod stalnim nadzorom i stalnim uznemiravanjem.
وجود نقط حراسة من المستوطنين بيحاولوا انهم يمنعوا اي حدا يدخل على البيت بيحاولوا انهم الاولاد يمنعوا.
Kada se Sadatove kćerke vrate iz škole u koju još mogu ići, on s ponosom pregleda rezultate njihovih testova. Izvrsne su učenice. Vrijeme je za igru, ali ova djeca nemaju priliku uživati u normalnom djetinjstvu. Njihova nana, svjedokinja brutalnosti u prošlosti i sadašnjosti, kaže nam koliko se boji onoga što bi moglo uslijediti. Sadat pokušava biti optimističan, ali vjeruje da je malo vjerovatno da će njegova porodica izbjeći izolaciju. Iako na ovaj život ne gledaju kao na zatvor, kazna koju izdržavaju svakako je slična zatvorskoj.
Zbog sukoba duž granice Libana i Izraela raseljeni su deseci hiljada farmera koji već pate od višegodišnje ekonomske krize. Za posljednje probleme odgovornom smatraju izraelsku vojsku koja je prema izvještajima Human Rights Watcha u napadima koristila bijeli fosfor te spalila više od 400 hektara šuma i voćnjaka.
Oružje koje izraelska vojska koristi u prekograničnoj razmjeni vatre sa libanskom oružanom grupom Hezbollah. Granatiranja su uglavnom bila ograničena na vojne ciljeve nekoliko kilometara s obje strane granice. No grupe za ljudska prava dokumentovale su korištenje bijelog fosfora u naseljenim područjima, što prema međunarodnom pravu nije dozvoljeno.
Our team has gathered compelling evidence that indicates the Israeli army's use of white phosphorus in 4 incidents in 3 different towns alongside the Lebanese southern borders. One of these attacks, which happened on the town on Tyra on 16 October, must be investigated as a war crime because it was an indiscriminate attack that injured at least 9 civilians.
Poljoprivrednici i stočari su među žrtvama sukoba koji je počeo nakon što je Hezbollah pokušao ublažiti pritisak na Hamas u Gazi. Nisu mogli doći do svojih pašnjaka zbog opasnosti od granatiranja, a to je dodatni pritisak na stanovništvo koje se suočava sa 4-godišnjom ekonomskom krizom. Privrednici poput Milada Ejda ističu kako nije moguće iskoristiti sezonu žetve, te da će za oporavak trebati godine, ako ne i desetljeća.
For this year we have 48 to 50% of our trees are already smashed. Nothing stay. It was very difficult.
Šumski požari koji su se širili kilometrima gorjeli su danima. Uzrokuje ih bijeli fosfor i baklje. Više od 400 hektara zelene površine već je izgorjelo. Podaci su Libanskog ministarstva poljoprivrede, od čega je 60% šuma i 30% poljoprivrednih površina. Uništeno je 47.000 stabala maslina, neka su bila stoljećima stara.
The burning of bushes adjacent to the border is also a military tactic. As you can see behind me, there are several kilometers of territory covered by trees. The Israeli army does not want Hezbollah to hide in those areas to mount attacks or ambushes against its forces.
Ovo je jedan od izraelskih položaja na granici koji je sada spaljen. Iz Libana navode da politika spaljivanja zemlje ima trajno negativan učinak na preživjeli, zemlju i okoliš.
U Londonu je održan festival posvećen palestinskom filmu. Kako izvještava Sonja Galjego, prikazani su filmovi koji podižu svijest o palestinskom narativu i pričama izvan sukoba.
Svijet filma u koji možete uroniti, s pričama koje se rijetko čuju i vide u mainstream kinematografiji. Dok razaranje Gaze dominira naslovima, potreba za drugačijim pričama o Palestincima postaje važnija nego ikad prije.
We're sick and tired of always having to play the perfect victim to audition for sympathy. We're messy, we're black and white and every shade of grey in between. And these are the kind of films I like to watch when I'm watching other people's culture and the films I like to make.
From documentaries to shorts to long-form films, the London Palestinian Film Festival has been bringing together new releases as well as older classics, showcasing Palestinian talent.
I think little windows into the Palestinian experience are really important.
I think it's important to see Palestinians in a positive light. You know, all we hear about negative things, and it's really to show the artistic side, you know, and what they're doing. I think it's brilliant.
Postoje prozori u živote samih filmskih stvaralaca. Film Čekajući Gazu profilira palestinske redatelje Tarzana i Araba Nasera, braću blizance čija se djela prisnošću suprotstavljaju klišejima. Njihov film Degrader pokazuje dan u kozmetičkom salonu u Gazi dok je izvan salona pucnjava. Pored drame ima i komedije. U filmu Vikend u Gazi britanski novinar odlučuje napustiti Izrael zbog virusa, te se pokušava prošvercati u Gazu. I uvijek prisutna čežnja i sjećanje. Glumica i rediteljka Hiem Abbas vraća se sa kćerkom u selo koje je napustila kako bi ostvarila svoje snove u filmu Bye Bye Tiberias. Priče su to palestinske koje pokreću, odjekuju i nadahnjuju.
Toliko u ovo sedmičnoj emisiji. Pratite nas i na portalu balkans.aljazeera.net. Doviđenja.